All right, everybody, welcome back to day 14 of the Advent of Cyber. Today we're going to look at web applications, so let's go ahead and jump right in. All right, we've got our attack box already fired up. Didn't want to wait for that one. Let's go ahead and jump in. Today's should be pretty short and sweet and fast. Today we're going to look at web applications. It's I'm dreaming of a secure web apps. Elf McSkidy was sipping her coffee when she saw on her calendar that it was time to review the web application security. An internal web application is being developed to be used internally and manage the cybersecurity team. She calls Elf Exploit McRed and asks him to check the in-development web application for common vulnerabilities. Elf Exploit McRed discovers that the local web application suffers from an insecure direct object reference, otherwise known as IDOR vulnerability. So in today's objectives, we're going to look at web applications, the Open Web Application Security Project, otherwise known as OWASP, their top 10, and we're going to look at IDOR. Okay, what is a web application? We all know what software applications are. We all downloaded or installed applications, Microsoft Office and so forth. A web application is a piece of software that we use via your web browser. All right. Unlike a computer program or a smartphone application, a web browser does not require you to install the program. It just uses the browser itself. To use a web application, all we need is a web browser, such as Firefox, Microsoft Edge, Chrome, Safari, Opera, Brave, the list goes on. There are many advantages for a user for a web application because it only needs to have a web browser. A user can access a web application from a Microsoft Windows system, a Mac computer, a Linux system. If a user can use a modern web browser, they can access the web application. They will be able to see the same interface and enjoy the same similar experience in every single system, whether you're on Microsoft, whether you're on Mac, or whether you're on a Linux system. They can even access the same application from a web browser on their smartphone, and their experience would not be affected. It's only going to be affected by the size of the screen. All right, moreover, there are many advantages for a software developer. Instead of developing an application for Mac OS, and another one for Windows, and another one for Linux, or Chrome OS, they only need to build one web application and ensure that it's compatible with the browsers. The following are some examples of popular web applications you may know. You've got webmail like Proton Mail, Start Mail, Gmail. You've got online shopping like Etsy, Amazon, eBay, AliExpress. You've got online banking. Modern banks increasingly allow clients to carry out their banking operations from a web browser. You also have online office suites. Consider, for an example, Microsoft 365, Zoho Office, Google Drive. As web technology advances, the number of types of web applications keep increasing. All right, databases. So you can't just have a web application. You got to have somewhere to put all of the data. So we use, on the back end, we use databases to store all of that information. There are two popular database models, a relational database and a non-relational database. So what's a relational database? A relational database stores the data in tables. Tables can share information. Consider the basic example with three tables. You have your product, you have your customer details, and then you have your purchases. The purchases table would use the information from the products table and so forth. Non-relational databases is just data that does not use any tables. It might store data in documents, in graphs, and any other type. So there are no relationships between what's in one table versus another. Generally speaking, a web application needs to consistently query the database. For example, if you're going to search for information, add new records, or update existing records. All right, so what's access control? So let's consider you go and log on to a online shopping app like Amazon. When you log on to Amazon, you should have the ability to go through Amazon, look at reviews. You should be able to pick out products, search products, and so forth. What you should not be able to do is go in and change the price of those products. That in itself is access control. It's controlling that access on the back end to make sure that you can't change stuff and you're only allowed to do what you're allowed to do. All right, web application vulnerabilities. The OWASP top 10. It's a big one. So the OWASP was established to improve software security. OWASP top 10 list aims to raise awareness regarding common security issues that plague web applications. This list helps software developers avoid common mistakes when they build their products to make them more secure. Other users, such as penetration testers and bug bounty hunters, will use these lists to serve purposes on those sites. IDOR. IDOR refers to the situation where a user can manipulate the input and bypass authorization due to poor access control. So IDOR was the 4th on the OWASP top 10 list in 2013, before it was published under the broken access control in 2017. So if you want to learn more, let's consider these examples. For instance, we've got a little spot down here. We've got Elf McSkidy, username's McSkidy, title is CISO. And in the top, you see SantaGift.shop/account/user_ID equals 101. What IDOR aims to do is once you've logged in, if you change 101 to 102, you automatically get to see that user. 103, 104, 105, and so on. That is an IDOR vulnerability. So we can scroll down here, and that's kind of what you're showing. ID 101. This person has logged in with 101. Now when they type in 114, now they see 114. So by manipulating and changing your URL at the top, you can actually see information that you shouldn't be able to see. The impact of IDOR vulnerabilities might let you reset somebody's password for another user. For instance, after logging in, a malicious user might start with the URL and changing the password and replace usernames with another user. For example, the attacker would maybe replace the username of Yeti in the URL. So we've got SantaGift.shop account change password equals Yeti. And the other valid username would attempt to change the password as shown in the figure below. The impact of IDOR vulnerability can be high. All right, so in our task today, we are going to exploit IDOR. So let's go ahead and hit our attack box, open up our site, and see what we can do. All right, with our site open, we've been given the credentials of username is McSkidy. McSkidy. And our password is devtest. I mean, why not? No, we don't want to save this. And you see that we've logged in. So now we've logged in as Elf McSkidy, Chief Information Security Officer. And their office is 110, and then their mobile number. So what's our first question? What is the office number of Elf Pivot McRed? Well, we're not logged on as Elf Pivot McRed, and we don't know what Elf Pivot McRed's password is. But using IDOR, we should be able to come up here if this is vulnerable and change our number. So instead of 101, let's try 102. Oh, look, see, now we can see Elf McBlue or Elf Log McBlue. Let's try 103. Who's next? Oop. Let's try 103 and see who's next. Elf Forensic McBlue. So we have our digital forensics investigator. We can see his profile. Let's check out who's 104. Elf Admin McBlue. So we've found the system administrator's account. But we're looking for Elf Pivot McRed. Number 5. Elf Pivot McRed. There we go. Our pen tester. What is his office number? His office number He's in Office 134. Ta-da! All right. Not only profile pages, but also stored images are vulnerable. Start with a URL of a valid profile image and find the hidden flag. All right, so if we right-click on Elf McRed, and let's say view image. All right, so now we have an image. So we see our new URL up at here. Images 105. Let's start back at. We've gone from 101 to 1. Let's start at 100. Actually, let's see if there's anything at below 100. 99. Nope, nobody's at 99. 100. Oh, look, there we go. So there's our flag. Can we copy this? No, we can't copy it. All right, we're gonna have to type that one in. THM. Close the door. There we go. And that was quick. That was a quick, simple, easy way of showing you how IDOR works. If you're interested in IDOR and want to look at it more, there's a room, another room dedicated to this on TryHackme, or you can look at the Corridor Challenge. I'd also say to go out and look up an individual by the name of Weave, W-E-E-V. He used IDOR back in the day to go through AT&T's accounts, I believe, and look at all kinds of different users within AT&T's mobile structure. I believe there's a story out on YouTube about this. So that's it for day 14. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you guys tomorrow for day 15 of the Advent of Cyber 2022.